Hello, buongiorno o buonasera. My name is Dawn Matera, and I'm a member of Modern Italian Network, an international community of people who are passionate about the Italian language, culture, and travel. For more information, simply go to modernitalian.org. Today is the first of our series of author interviews. mi.o has several members that are published writers, and today we're going to be talking with award-winning bloggers and just generally awesome people, Gary and Ilene Modica. Benvenuti!
Benvenuti.
Now, before we talk about your multiple 5-star rated book, let's talk location, location, location. As we're recording, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, but where are you two?
We are in Tuscany, in Lucca.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Lucca is a
very.
beautiful city. And
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, it's one of the few European cities that still have the walls intact.
Yep.
And the walls, they're so thick, you can actually ride bicycles on the top of them.
There are people jogging up there, exercising up there, and bicycle riding up there every day.
In
That's
fact,
awesome.
I just joined a Facebook group, Friends of Lucca, and a story that maybe we have time for, but we're meeting a couple tomorrow that read the blog. They live here in Lucca, told us about it. So I joined this. They have yoga on the wall that's starting now. And so
Not for me.
I was going to ask if Gary's going to participate in yoga.
No.
I'll watch.
And so we're going to, bicycles, everything. It's a beautiful, it's a small Florence.
Yeah.
That's it's a medieval town. The city center is quite medieval looking. And I would say it's a small, quaint Florence.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it. And what made you decide on Lucca?
We've spent, during 2019 for the book, we spent our last month here. And then we spent probably 4 or 5 days here before that. But it's just something about Lucca that keeps on calling.
Yes.
When we were here last in 2019 November, it was raining like crazy almost every day. So we really didn't get out a lot. So, we felt to give this place its just due. Let's go back and spend 7 months, 8 months here and see what it's really like.
Beautiful.
Originally coming back to go to Arezzo again.
Yes.
Another town in Tuscany at the other end, at the eastern tip, another town that I love.
It is beautiful.
But the apartment owner, because of COVID and because we couldn't come back, we checked with him before renting this place and found out that he had rented it to a local
Football player.
Football. So he's in our apartamento, and so we had to find someplace else. I couldn't find anything in Arezzo other than that place I liked. So we looked in Spello. Spello was a little too pricey for our budget. And so I was like, I love Lucca because it's an hour to Florence by train. It's 20 minutes to the ocean and Viareggio, a beautiful beach right by the Carrara Marble Mountains.
Yes.
So we're giving Lucca a good run for its money.
Wonderful. Now, kind of a prelude to this is not your first time living in Italy, is it?
No.
And tell us about, now this is where the book is tied into when you lived in Italy for a year. So of course, for those of you that don't know, Gary and Ilene's book is called Our Italian Journey. And also that's the name of their blog as well. So tell us about, before we talk about the book, I want to talk about before you lived in Italy for a year. There were some things that you did in preparation, like you, sold a couple of things. Tell us about what you did before you moved.
It's a big understatement. So those green, large Rubbermaid tubs that you store Christmas or holiday items, and that's everything we own, including my sewing machine.
Is in 4 of those.
Is in 4 Rubbermaid tubs. We took our home of 27 years in preparation for getting our dual citizenship. And we thought we would be loosey-goosey kind of, wanderers and sell it all. And of course, after the house sold in 4 days, we wound up selling cars and that, and then still waited for our citizenship to arrive. So we were living in a friend's apartment while he was back, one of Gary's coworkers, that he was back in Chicago. And so we rented there. We stayed with his daughter. We were like little nomads waiting for our citizenship, which took longer than we expected.
But in the meantime, we also spent 90 days in Parma and then 90 days in Firenze. So, that killed 6 months there.
Right. Wow, what a way to waste time.
I know. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Now tell us about the book. It's not just about your story of living in Italy for a year, but it's also a travel guide and so much more. So give us an overview of the book.
Well, I'll start by saying I can't thank the readers enough for such heartwarming reviews. And, when people say I bought the ebook and then I ordered the paperback because I wanted to make little notes in pencil, or, I now have my list of towns to check out when we can travel again, and just heartwarming reviews. But it came about so, I don't know, off the cuff kind of deal. We arrived in Rome and had no plans to write a book. I mean, neither one of us are writers, but I barely speak, I speak English well, but I didn't realize how poorly I wrote it until the book. But it was one of those things where we started off, well, okay, if we do this, Gary had his own reasons for writing the book and dedicating the book. And so, the readers really have made it just outstanding, a project so outstanding in my heart.
There was no rhyme or reason why we did it. We just did it.
We figured, this is, we're not going to be staying in one town. We went to, gosh, I don't even remember now how many towns we went to.
Rome.
No, don't go start counting.
I'll need another cup of coffee. Hold on.
And I think we just, we knew that, everybody knows Rome, everybody knows Florence, but we knew we were going to go to towns that nobody had heard of. And a good example is this little town south of Naples and Sorrento called Scafati, where, to me, we had the best experience and a dream come true for me with an Italian family. And I don't know that anybody has heard of Scafati, but to us now it's very, very special.
Can you tell us quickly what happened?
So we wanted to stay and be able to go to Naples and things like that. So Naples, I didn't want to stay in.
So we were between Naples and Sorrento, which put us perfect.
Yeah, Sorrento was too expensive. So we found this cute apartment. The town itself is not something I would recommend. That's not something you're going to pencil in your travel itinerary. But the family that owned the apartment actually befriended us, and just heartwarming. They brought us over. His parents wanted to meet us. They lived in
Vico
Esquez, part of Sorrento, and had us over for dinner. They didn't speak a bit of English, and Giuseppe kind of
Giuseppe was interpreting, but when he got on his phone and the mother and father were talking to us, it was really interesting.
The father, and he's a character, Felice. Love him to death. We became Facebook friends while we were sitting at the table. Videos taking, and it was the best experience I always wanted to break bread and
Sit down at an Italian table and break bread and get to know
talk
a family.
Italian
And we
and get
did.
to know a family. And to this day, we are in constant contact with them.
Beautiful.
In this little town that I don't know that I'd ever go back to, but you know, I go to their house.
The one thing I miss about Scafati is Maria,
The neighbor.
our neighbor.
Oh,
She was our watchdog. She was out in the morning when we'd go somewhere, and she sat out in the courtyard until we came back.
wow.
And I mean, literally, she folded up her folding chair and went back upstairs because she lived in the apartment across from us. And I mean, it was like we were her job. And she was the sweetest thing you could ever meet.
That's awesome.
When we left Scafati, we went to say goodbye to her and she started crying. Now she spoke no English either. And here she is sobbing, which of course started me, which I usually don't need any help in that department. So here's a woman that, you know, I mean, we were there for a month and just befriended.
It's a town, it's probably the only town in Italy we've stayed in where we never ate out.
Never did passeggiata, never.
We really, you know, well, passeggiata was to the supermarket. That was
that's it.
a mile and a half. So, but I mean, Scafati was a nothing town, but it wound up being very important to us.
Yes. And I love the fact that you hit on exactly why we keep going back to Italy. My first visit to Italy was in 2001, and I've now been there 22 times, including living in Florence for a couple of months back in 2003 or 4 to go to school for the language. And people ask me, they say, why do you keep going back to Italy? There's all these other places. Yes, but there's a quote that that says, Italy first captures your attention and then it captures your heart.
Yes.
And it's all about the people. Yes, the scenery is beautiful. The history is unbelievable. The artwork, the food, oh, the food. But it's the people. Here, you didn't even speak the same language. No, I'm sorry, you did. You spoke the same language, a language of love. And that's really that heart, that generosity, that spirit, the Italian passion and art of life. That's why you and we keep going back to Italy.
I think to date we've been to 81 towns in Italy.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And there's still more to discover. There's still more we want to see.
We have yet to go to Calabria. We have yet to go to Piemonte. We have yet to go to Basilicata, other than Matera.
We did go.
Yep.
But I mean, you know, there's still so much to see here and do here.
Yes.
You know, I tell you the truth. It's going to be the same no matter where we go. The food's going to be great, except in Lecce. The wine's going to be superb. The buildings are going to be the buildings. The people are going to be what you're going to take away.
That's right. That's right. You said it exactly right. Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the people that keeps you coming back and back and back.
Wonderful. Now, also, as we're recording this is at the very end of April of 2021. And Italy, that was one of the hardest hit nations in 2020. Just on Monday of this week, a few days ago, most of Italy went into what they're calling the yellow zone, meaning that the restrictions are much more relaxed. And I saw your Facebook post that you were sitting in the piazza on that day. What was that like, being with the Italians, that they finally got this day of liberty?
Surprisingly, the cafes were pretty empty. But it was a Monday. It was a work day and a school day. But it was just so nice to be able to go to someplace we've been before, in that same cafe, in that piazza, and have a drink or two and have something to eat and just be an Italian.
Yeah.
It was great. It really was.
The sad thing is, Dawn, when we arrived 3 weeks ago, a month ago now, excuse me. You know, we passed stores that were closed. There was some restaurants open. You could go to the door and take away or take out.
Yeah, or delivery.
Or delivery.
Okay.
But the umbrellas were closed. The chairs were stacked on tables.
It was very eerie
It was
to me.
It
That's-
was.
I- Streets were empty.
Yeah.
It was. And a subscriber of our blog she was here for a year, lived here for a year, gave me a list of great restaurants and bakeries and places to go. And most, I'd say 85% were closed.
Yep.
Oh.
And some of them still are. We've gone by and we'll keep going by to patronize them.
Mhm.
We don't know if they're out of business, if they, if they won't be reopening, but
Yeah, one store one restaurant we passed today, his umbrellas have been folded up, his chairs are stacked in tables. And he's got his tables out, his umbrellas up, and it says on the door, open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Beautiful.
So my feeling is you're gonna get a lot of these places that will reopen for the weekend only,
Yes.
yeah,
and then go from there.
if not
Right.
others.
Right. Yes. My family on the island of Ischia. Ischia is in the Bay of Naples. My family,
Yes.
part of my family there has a restaurant, and they just posted on Facebook today that they are reopening tomorrow, May 1st. So even though they could have reopened earlier, you think about it, that people, the vendor, the owners, proprietors, they need time to buy supplies, hire their staff back.
It's just so, to me though, it's so heartwarming to see it's opening up.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we took a walk today. We actually had our first meal out today in a restaurant.
Yep.
Outside
Pranza.
at Pranza.
Excellent.
And it was just
It was-
gratifying to see what Italy could be like.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see what it's going to be like. I
That's
really
right.
can't.
Well,
in this past month, with everything being closed, you saw people cleaning their stores.
Yeah.
You saw them preparing, painting some of the window jambs, probably just sprucing it up. Like you said, delivery trucks the last week were crowding the streets, fruit and verdura, just trucks and trucks of vegetables and
Activity.
and it was a
Yes.
lot of activity, but
Yes.
it is. I just feel for these small merchants that can't or
Mhm.
may never reopen.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
sad.
It's a loss and unfortunate, but
I don't think they'll be able to recover from that.
Right. And however, especially you being in Tuscany, it's perfect because that's the birthplace of the Renaissance. And Italy has always, like a phoenix, you coming from Phoenix, phoenix rising from the ashes. I didn't intend to do that. And they have had a Renaissance, the Renaissance, but Italy has always had a Renaissance, after the world wars, and they're going to come back again now. And that spirit of arrangiarsi, which is meaning turning lemons into limoncello, making opportunities from obstacles. And you see this all over Italy. So these people that, of course, it's horrible that some of them have lost their businesses. They will rise above. They will come back. And Italy will once again be the vibrant country that it once was, and maybe even better. I hope that we've learned from all of this.
You're taking baby steps, and I understand the reason why. They don't want to go back to full lockdown. So right now, the curfew is 10 o'clock and the restaurants have to be closed by then, where normally, restaurants would always be open. So there still is a 10 o'clock curfew.
Yeah, you can't be on the streets from 10 to 5 in the morning. The one thing good about Tuscany and Lucca in particular for us about becoming a yellow zone, which is it's white, which nobody's in.
Right.
Yellow is a small risk. Orange is a larger risk. Red is you're quarantined.
Right.
We can now travel by train to any yellow zone we want, and which would be nice.
Yes.
Will be. but we can now go to Florence and see our friends. We can go to Prato and see our Italian daughter, who we adopted.
Beautiful.
And
She's a grown woman.
she's a grown woman, but it's all
That's
good.
okay.
We can now do the things that we wanted to do when we got here, and we hope to be able to do.
That's right.
So
Now,
yellow meant a lot.
yep. You're in a good place at a good time. The future's only going to get better.
I think.
Now,
I hope
what's
so.
next? What's next for the two of you as far as the book, your blog? What's on the horizon?
Well, I'll tell you, the book, I never thought I just thought you wrote the book and that was the end of it. Well, who knew you had to do all this promoting and so, most of my days are spent on the blog and on the book, and just the amount of people that we have met because of both, keeping up with correspondence and everything. It's wonderful. I will say that, in fact, we announced it today on our new blog post. We kept getting so many questions, how were you able to go? And what did you have to do to prepare to go with this COVID situation? So we decided to do like a little ebook that we will, we're working our way through completion about, and in the same style as our book. So written in the same style, alternating chapters, except for the finale, where we're joining our efforts for the final chapter. But about, us rebooking the flight that was canceled for 2020 and our return, and about the crazy websites that don't have definite information or information like this is step 1, this is step 2. So, what we had to go through to be able to come as Italian citizens.
We always could have come back as an Italian citizen.
Yes.
Even when it broke out, but there was no air flights coming to Italy.
Yeah.
Minor detail.
Rowboat.
Right.
So we decided
exciting.
all the questions that everybody has been asking us since we announced we're coming back, we decided to do a little ebook, just as a small little chapter of how we got here, why we decided to come back here, and just how things have been progressing here. So
Beautiful.
We'll have that available on the blog.
Excellent. And tell viewers and listeners your blog address.
OurItalianJourney.com.
Just like the book. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Now, before we wrap up today, let's talk about mi.o, that is hosting this interview, Modern Italian Network. Why do you think people should join mi.o, and do you have to be of Italian heritage?
Okay, I'm going to take this one.
First off, answer to your last part of the question. No, you don't have to be an Italian to do it.
Right.
That's right.
If you have any love of Italy or the thoughts of a love of Italy, you join.
Right. That's what it's about. It's free to join. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how I found mi.o, but I think Gina and Matteo still say I'm one of the first founding members.
Yes.
And everyone that I tell joins. It's it's a wonderful group of people that have a common bond with the love of Italy. I have learned so much from everyone, and Gina and Matteo are outstanding. I have not met two.
I joined just for them. That's
just warm in their hearts, and their commitment to make mi.o as good as it can be. Yep. I started language learning with them. So I take now the novice because I'm still a novice. I keep trying. But just the friendships that I have made, people that have joined, and like you mentioned, Diane, I had mentioned to Diane to join, and now she's one of the most active people like yourself that are on mi.o. It's just,
It's
just
true.
a wonderful group. And I just keep recommending it because if you love Italy, then you'll love mi.o.
Exactly. Thank you. I could not have said it better myself. So I'm glad I asked you. Well, thank you so much, Gary and Ilene, for taking the time today to talk to us about your book, your blog, and of course, our mutual love, Italy. So until the next time, arrivederci.